Let's go live now to Sydney, where authorities are providing an update on heavy rain and flash flooding in New South Wales.
The Bureau's forecast of the rains will have on those communities so that you are well prepared and can move quickly if you need to. And I'd say to the community, please take heed of the warnings that we will no doubt issue over the coming days. And if we give an evacuation order, please evacuate and evacuate quickly, because I can't always have an SES vehicle or our partner agencies able to access. Roads get cut off very quickly. It's dangerous out there in the weather, and we want to make sure that you make those decisions very early, because you will place yourselves at risk and you will place my volunteers and emergency services at risk as well. So a lot of important messages. Keep in touch. Make sure often during these events there's significant breakages in our communication systems. Make sure you have a radio, make sure it's got batteries, so that you can listen to these key messages that are going out, and particularly in those areas that get cut off. Start to supply with your groceries. You might be at higher ground, but you might not be able to access out to towns to get your provisions, and so think about it early. It's better to be prepared and not be placed at risk. It's better to leave your home if we evacuate, ask you to evacuate, and go back and find everything has been untouched, than to be stuck there and be calling for assistance. So in preparation, we're putting on extra call takers. If you need assistance from the New South Wales SES, and we work with all our other emergency service partners, ring 132 500. But if it is life-threatening, ring 000. And that way we will try and make sure that the community is safe, that you are prepared, and that we can help you when you most need it. So I'll just open up for questions now.
Commissioner, this is obviously going to be triggering for those residents who have gone through several flood events already this year. What do you say to those people that must be feeling the exhaustion of having another, big event coming their way?
Yes, look, it's it's an anxious time for our community members. It's an anxious time for emergency services and police and other agencies as well, knowing that we may be called on to help these community members. They have experienced floods before. It is tiring. There's certainly the weather events that we've seen over the last really 2 years of continual flooding in some of these areas really affects the community, and it affects the economy of the community, but particularly the safety of those residents as well. So, I can't stress strongly enough the need to prepare and be ready, but also to not assume that because you weren't affected in the last record flood, particularly around the Hawkesbury and Nepean, but in these other areas that are at risk, that you may not be affected this time. Don't assume. As I say, it's better to leave if we do an evacuation order, or leave if you just feel unsafe and you want to be somewhere with other family, friends, and on higher ground. It's really important for them to make safe decisions.
And is this system, I suppose, made worse by the amount of rain that we've already had, in terms of, the amount of our river capacities and our dams? Is this then making this system worse?
It does make it a greater risk to the communities, and I'll hand to Jane if she wants to add something to that. But, over the last 3 years since the drought ended, the 2019-2020 bushfires, we've had significant rain, and the saturation levels of the ground is an added concern for us. So not only do you get the riverine flooding, the flash flooding, but you also get the trees are unstable. That creates another risk, particularly around the home or on the roads. Landslides are a risk as well. We've just seen the opening of some of the roads around Kangaroo Valley from the last floods in February, March, where those communities were cut off. So we anticipate there's a higher risk of landslides, and particularly hazardous surf conditions, and anyone who wants to go out in the water, should really look at the weather forecast and see the dangers that they may be confronting, and if in doubt, don't go out.
And do you anticipate that evacuations will be ordered?
Well, we prepare for that anyway, so we always try, where possible, and it's not always possible, to give evacuation warnings out based on the Bureau's forecast and where we are seeing the rain falling. But it's important also that if it is significant rain in a very short period of time, we may go straight to an evacuation order. So we prepare for that. We have communication going out. we're already starting to engage with the communities to let them know what the risks are. So it's really important to keep on top of those messages.
Authorities speaking in New South Wales foreshadowing possible evacuations with two significant weather threats moving across Australia, set to shatter records and also bring possible flash flooding. The rain events have been forecast in the country's northeast and southeast, so people are being advised to be on alert and heed any warnings that are potentially issued over the next few days.